Welcome, Trojans, to the first installment of Cole's Corner here at the THS Morning Report, where I'll be sitting down throughout the year with some of the best and brightest minds that Topeka High School has to offer. Today, I sat down with a woman who started her teaching career at Spearville High School just outside of Dodge, Kansas. Spent some time working at colleges on athletic programs, worked at Rockhurst Community College and coached 5 years of top 25 all-academic basketball, but is now here in the district and just got off a 5-year stint at Eisenhower as the principal, and is now coming into her first year as principal here at Topeka High School. Some of you may know her as Miss Rebecca Morrissey.
So my first question for you is, as stated, you've kind of been all over. You've been at Spearville High School, then Leavenworth, just as well. You worked a little bit at Benedictine College in Atchison, and then even at Rockhurst, and coached 5 years of top 25 all academic basketball. And then of course after that you ended up at 501, and you ended up at Eisenhower for 5 years as the principal. I've got to ask, after being able to be somewhere for 5 years and cement yourself and your whole regime there, what made you want to come back to Topeka High School?
Topeka High is one of those places, if you've been here at all, and you all have, it kind of has its own soul. And the people are special. It's diverse in a way that not many places are. And the 2 years I was here as an assistant after being at the college level for a while really confirmed to me why I wanted to go back to high school, why I love high school, and especially high schools that have so many different things to offer and so many different viewpoints. So for me to come back, I loved Eisenhower. I loved the staff, I loved the kids. I started my career in middle school, but I think I knew from the very beginning, as I got into education, that this is the niche I love the most.
And then transitioning back from being, of course, an administrator at a middle school for 5 years to high school, and not only a high school, but a high school that you're familiar with, did you find yourself having to relearn anything coming back to Topeka High School, or?
I think the difference is just sitting in a different chair. There were things I think that Dr. Wiley knew that we didn't have to know at the time, and much of education is a need to know. You know what you need to know to do your job. So there are some things I'm learning now that I didn't in terms of budget or in terms of different processes and procedures. Other than that, I think a lot of the systems that were changing over the last 5 years affected middle just as much as it affected high school. So I have familiarity with the trends of the district, with the career and college ready programs. And our district's always been pretty progressive and been ahead of the curve when it came to things like Common Core and career and college readiness.
What's just one thing that you absolutely love about this school?
I love the traditions, which makes it ironic, all the social media, and everybody's always afraid of change, staff and students. So I thought it was funny when one of the first things that's out there is that I'm going to take away traditions that have been implanted here forever, because I value those. It is a large part of your first question of why I came back. When you're here at Topeka High, it has a feel more like a college campus, because I've been at middle, high school, and college. And it's rare to find high schools that have some of the just entrenched traditions that kids carry on year after year after year. There may be small ones, but this place has a sense of who they are as a combined group more than any place I've ever been. And that is awesome. So things like running in the hall, the way that we do specific things, the singing of the alma mater and the school song, and the kids know that.
Right.
The way that seniors every year lead and get into the spirit of games and all the interesting little dynamics they come to games with and the little twists as they root for teams, whether teams are winning or losing. It doesn't always happen everywhere. In this place, everybody supports one another. We value things that in the real world are sometimes not valued. And I sometimes think the real world needs to pay attention to what goes on in high schools and high schools like this, because they can learn a lot from students.
And then I did want to ask, you mentioned a bit, kind of the first couple of weeks, that whole, breakout on social media of everything with running of the halls. That might have thrown some people in the student body kind of for a loop. Things have kind of, especially in the first couple of weeks, I know I've noticed it, I know some of my friends have noticed it, you run things a lot differently than Wiley. And that's certainly not to say that's a bad thing. But my big question is, what should our staff and student body know about you, whether it be as a principal or as a person?
In terms of difference, and you're right, it's different. I said that in my interview to the students there. I valued what Dr. Wiley brought to the table. She hired me back into the district. She's a brilliant woman. She had a style that was uniquely her. The difference for me and what people need to know about me is I'm much more hands-on and I'm much more visible. I want to be out and see what's going on and have my hands in everything. Not to micromanage it, I'm not a micromanager or control freak per se. Oh, I'm probably a little bit of a control freak, who isn't? But not in the sense I want to do other people's jobs. It's just that I want to see what's going on. So you see me walking in and out of classrooms and taking notes. That was a little bit weird for anybody who hadn't been at Eisenhower and seen me do that. And it was a little weird for staff at first, but it just lets me kind of know what's going on and lets me know what changes are actually needed instead of just assuming it from my vantage point. So that's one thing, and I think the other is I love my job. I enjoy kids, I enjoy students. That's why I went into education to start with. It is a connection that I value, and hopefully I can help to make a difference, and that's such a buzzword, but I really mean that. For me, it's getting to talk to students and getting to see those things and getting to ask those questions that helps. But I don't play. If people aren't doing their jobs, I'm going to be tough because I do want you ready when you walk out the door as seniors for the real world, whether you're going to college or whether you're going straight into a career.
Awesome. Well, those are all the questions I have. So just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I love being here, and one of the traditions I love is you and Izzy and the morning crew doing the news. It's fun to have that. Not many high schools have that either. So thanks for doing these kinds of things.
Of course.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blinded by